Hi, everyone, and happy Wednesday. I'm so excited that you could join us today. Um, it is Wednesday. It's the last Wednesday of the month, so we have Health Coach Q&A for you today. But as you all know, I like to start us off with some sort of icebreaker, et cetera, et cetera. So using the chat feature or take yourself off mute, whatever works. On a scale of 1 to 10, how are you doing today? 1 being it's the worst day of my life, 10 being it's the best day of my life. Where are you on that continuum? Ooh, Janet and Belinda are both at a 9. I'm glad that everything is going so well for you. Kathy says an 8. Good, everybody's having a good day, good week. For those of you who have kids, are they back in school yet? Can't believe summer is over. Well, awesome. Let's get started. If you have any questions that come up, feel free to use that chat function or take yourself off mute, whatever works best. Like you all know, the last Wednesday of the month, we go over Health Coach Q&A. So these are the questions that were submitted to us. And like I said, if you have more questions that we don't cover, just let us know. And we can either cover them today if we have the time, or we can cover them next month. So question number 1, are carbs bad? Especially if you grew up in the 90s or, were an adult in the 90s, we definitely heard that carbs are bad. That's what makes us fat, and we should be low carb, low carb, low carb. That's where we got both Atkins and keto from, is this low carb idea. However, carbs actually play a really good role in our health and well-being. That's why there's so many of them. Carbs are broken down into glucose when we eat them, and glucose is the preferred energy source within our body. Our brain, it loves to use glucose. It doesn't like to use ketones. There are some systems that prefer ketones, but they do that naturally. Our brain will do anything and everything to use glucose, including like breaking down muscle tissue. So glucose or carbs are really, really good. They keep us healthy. They keep us full. They keep our blood sugar in check. When we start to kind of swing the pendulum to that bad side with carbs is when we eat too many processed carbs, too many carbs that are not whole grain. And that means that they take the germ of it, it's called a germ, and they take away all the good stuff, the fiber and the minerals, and then you're just like left with the gluten. So you're not getting a whole bunch of nutrient density or anything like that. And then obviously too many carbs, probably not the best thing for us. But when you think about nutrient dense foods that are carb heavy, things like sweet potatoes, bananas, apples, you're not only getting a carb, which is really good for your brain and most of your systems to operate, but you're also getting those vitamins and minerals, which are instructions on how to use the food that you're eating, and you're getting fiber, which helps regulate our system and can protect us against colon cancer. So carbs are good. I would just say limit the number of processed carbs. So anything that comes in a box that you can't go grow yourself in the wild. So you can't go to the Ritz farm and get Ritz crackers, but you can go to the apple tree and pick an apple. So next question. I hate exercise. What can I do? I think a lot of people don't really love exercise. We get hot, we get sweaty, it's uncomfortable, especially if we don't quite know what we're doing or not comfortable yet. And going to the gym can be intimidating. So what can you do about hating exercise? I think number 1 is reframing it in your mind. So instead of, I have to get exercise in, replacing that word with movement, with physical activity, something where your body is not sedentary. So that could be yoga, swimming, walking, playing catch with your kids in the backyard. It doesn't have to be going to the gym and lifting weights or, whatever it is. exercise, movement, we really just want our body to move in some way. So whatever way feels good for you. I always give the example. One of my past coworkers really loved yoga. I'm not a yoga person. It's not how I like to get out my stress and how I like to move my body. I'm more of a CrossFitter. I like to lift heavy things and put them back down. But both of those things worked for us, even though they didn't. Our own things worked for us, even though we didn't do the same type of activity. So find that movement piece that works for you, and keep on with that one. I think with exercise too, there's no need to like go hard every single day. Sometimes we want that active recovery, that active rest, or something like going for a walk in the morning or afternoon. It's a great time to connect with your loved ones, walk with your spouse, take your kids with you, call a friend, whatever it is. So both good for your physical and mental health. Number 3, is walking or running better for weight loss? They're both really good. They have their own benefits and they have their own drawbacks, right? So we get the same benefit of weight loss of walking and running. All we have to do is walk twice as long to get the same weight loss as running. If you're looking for cardio endurance, running is better. But if you're looking for something that's nicer on your knees, walking is better. So if you are not a runner, but you still want the cardio benefits of it, you can be a walker. You don't have to run in order to be successful with your weight loss. And there are other ways to get cardio in if that's what you're looking for. You can hop on a stair climber, elliptical, go for a swim, hop on a rowing machine, lift your weights really fast, do hot yoga. All of those things increase our cardiovascular endurance. So what is clean eating? I think a lot of us hear this clean eating or I'm eating clean. And for some people, it looks a little bit different. So my definition of clean eating is eating mostly nutrient-dense plant-based foods. So like what you see on the left here. So different types of fruits and vegetables, a lot of produce, limiting our animal proteins, but eating a lot of fish, especially fatty fishes. So salmon, herring, I think they're called the smash fishes. Salmon, herring, mackerel, anchovies, sardines, I believe are the good ones with a lot of those omega-3s. Whole grains, when you do eat whole grains, and then limited dairy and limited red meat. So if it comes from a cow or a pig, probably not considered terribly clean unless if you're getting it directly from the farmer. Give me just 1 second. Oh, okay, they're good. There's a little bit of a cat fight with my kitten. So clean eating at least mostly fruits and vegetables, plant-based products. So any type of pasta, legumes, quinoa, etc. Most of our clean eating products can be found on the perimeter of the grocery store, so you don't have to go down the aisles. And that's not to say, I can't make a clean breakfast as quickly as possible. I really depend on my protein shake or whatever that is. You can build those things and still eat clean. I think when we think about clean eating, we're trying to reduce those saturated fats, trans fats, things maybe high in cholesterol, high in added sugar. So again, if you can't go to the farm and grow it yourself, it's probably not considered clean. This doesn't take into effect organic or not organic. At the end of the day, fruits and vegetables, you need to be eating fruits and vegetables, and if organic isn't accessible for you, then get conventionally grown. Please. Is there a universal diet? No, there is not. What works for me and my body is not necessarily going to work for you and your body. Our nutrition needs kind of change as we get older, depending on what, Lisa, I'll get to that question in just a second. Depending on where we're at in our lives, obviously, if like a pregnant woman and a lactating woman needs different nutrient needs than somebody who isn't pregnant and lactating, and active men need a different caloric intake than, sedentary men, things like that. So there isn't a universal diet, but I think the good pillars of what we should be doing when we eat is, again, eating real foods, lots of them, and minimal meat. So the more green things that you can put on your plate, the better. So Lisa asked a question, what about frozen fruits and vegetables? I am guessing. So frozen fruits and vegetables are picked at the peak of their ripeness, so when they are the best to eat, and then they're flash frozen. The whole process is really interesting, so it doesn't come out as soggy on the other end. But they keep most of their nutrients in that flash freezing process. We do lose a little bit of them when we cook, but a fresh head of broccoli is going to lose some nutrients when we cook it as well. It's just kind of the nature of the beast. So fresh or frozen fruits and vegetables are remarkably similar to fresh ones. I will say with canning, those tend to have a little bit more salt or a little bit more sugar depending on the fruit or vegetable. Yes, definitely more cost effective. So if you buy those fruits and vegetables in a can, make sure you rinse them, especially beans. We can get rid of up to like a third of the sodium content just by draining and rinsing them. And sodium isn't an issue for most of us, but if you do struggle with high blood pressure, you definitely want to watch your sodium. So maybe stick to the frozen or the fresh. Thank you, Lisa, for that question. So we obviously here at Ensigns of Health promote both cardio and strength training. We have really good benefits of strength training. Muscle burns calories longer than cardio. It burns calories for 24 hours, whereas cardio just burns the calories while we're doing it. Building muscle also like protects our bone and bone health. Muscle tends to when we talk about like losing weight and toning up, it tends to be developing that muscle tone. So muscle makes us look better. And don't worry, women, you're not going to get too bulky with weight training unless if you are trying to get bulky, unless if you're trying to be a weightlifter type of thing. We tend to have a little bit more energy, a little bit more stamina, and endurance if we weightlift, if we strength train. When you start strength training, if it hurts, don't do it. Know your limits. It's really, is this, and finding the difference between like, is this uncomfortable or is this hurting my body? So start with a weight. Start with a weight that makes sense for you. For some, bicep curl at 5 pounds is plenty, but for others, a bicep curl at 20 pounds is plenty. So I would always say start at a lower weight and work your way up. If you are able to do your reps and sets and not failing, meaning that you just can't squeak one more out, that means that your weight is too light. So if, for example, if I'm doing bicep curls and I have 5s and I'm able to do 15 of them, no sweat, I need to bump that weight up. So I would go then to 8-pound dumbbells. And if that's still too light, then I go up to 10. So you want to be close to failure, meaning that you just can't get that last rep out of a set. And that's really how you know if you need to be using more weight or not. A lot of times just our body weight is plenty to do what we need to do, or you can find things around your house, milk, a gallon of milk, some cans, to weight lift, and that provides the same benefit. A resistance band, whatever it could be, provides the same benefit. So if heavy weights aren't accessible to you, you can still get benefit from body weight activity. So Imelda asked, I've heard that it's best to do weights first and then cardio. Is that best? Imelda, I've been doing research around this question for ages, and there is like no exact science on if you want to do weights first or your cardio first. I think at the end of the day, it really depends on your goals. I personally prefer to do my cardio first to get my muscles warm before I go weightlift. You don't want to ever weightlift on cold muscles. That's how you hurt yourself. But there is also a train of thought in the weightlifting world that you want to do all of your weightlifting first and then do your cardio because there's more of a body fat loss benefit there. There's no body of evidence that says one is better than the other. So whatever works for you. And if you have a very specific fitness goal in mind, I would suggest finding a like a lifting coach, and they'll be better able to answer that question specific for you. Imelda, I know that's not like the best answer. I hate the answer. It depends, but it really does depend. Yeah, of course. So is there an age when our metabolism shows down? There was recently a really big study that came out, and I forgot who, I think it was a federal study, about our metabolism, and there is not significant evidence that our metabolism slows down before the age of 60. But what does happen, like once we get out of that college age where we're really active, we start to become more sedentary. We start to eat less fruits and vegetables because life gets busy. So it's more of our habits start to become detrimental versus our metabolism slowing down in our 20s and 30s. So if you're noticing that, oh, I just can't lose weight like I used to, think back, like, were you trying to lose weight when you were in your younger 20s? And what else looks different? And we're not supposed to look the same throughout our lives. Our bodies do change, but we obviously don't want to gain that 2 to 3 pounds that most Americans do every year. So if you're noticing that your metabolism is slowing down, meaning that you're gaining weight at a faster rate than you would like to, or if you're gaining a lot of belly fat, look at your habits. Are you really moving as much as you're saying you're moving? Are you eating as well as you're saying that you're eating? We tend to overestimate our healthy habits. So I think that's a time for us to say, I need to make some changes, and I need to tackle my obstacles, my excuses. So our metabolism doesn't slow down until we're in our 60s. And then it slows down because our caloric needs change a little bit more. We need more calories when we're younger than when we're older. That's when our system starts to slow down and they just don't need as much energy. Sorry to burst that bubble for you all. Next question. I'm feeling really stressed and burnt out. What can I do? I think this is a pretty common feeling for a lot of people right now. With the uncertainty of the pandemic, some of us might be working hybrid schedules. Our kids are back in school. They have to wear masks. They don't have to wear masks. Like what's going on? Like I think a lot of us have a lot of stress in burnout right now. This is where self-care comes into play. And self-care isn't just, going to the spa and getting that massage. Self-care are the intentional actions that we take every day to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. So I like to always think of it as, we have a cup, and we are the cup. We need to fill in our cup with what makes us feel good, because other people, they can help, but they also take away from it. So what can you do today to fill up your cup? Is it saying no to that thing that you don't want to go do? Is it, cooking a healthy dinner because that's going to make you feel better in the long term? Going to bed at a good time, staying off social media, only checking the news once. Those are all different types of self-care. Thanks, Kathy. Have a good day. So really looking at how you can take care of yourself. And then getting down to the bottom of what is making you feel stressed. Is it that you need to maybe create a boundary with your boss that you don't work at 8 o'clock at night? Is it that you need to put boundaries in place with your friends, that they need to ask you for your emotional availability before they just kind of dump their bad day on you? Is it that you need to just go shake it off, get some sunshine, walk it out? I wish I could tell you what your self-care plan is, but that's when you got to do some digging for you. So if you're feeling stressed and burnt out, And if you're in crisis because you're stressed and burnt out, meaning that, you don't see a light at the tunnel, you're starting to feel a little bit of hopelessness, please seek out professional mental health care. Um, Always important to see a therapist when you need it. Yes, Lisa, absolutely. Asking for help is a strength. Seek support. You are worth it 100%. And I'm a firm believer that the only way that we are going to get through this and return to hopefully some sense of normality is by taking care of each other. At the end of the day, we just need to take care of each other. So please, please, please take care of yourselves, take care of each other. Don't overextend yourself. It's okay to say no. I give you permission. So my weight loss, next question, my weight loss has stalled. Oh no, what should I do? Please know that weight loss stalling is completely normal, depending on the week, right? So a lot of times when we see weight loss, it's not like a perfect line down. We see a little bit of an down and an over and maybe a bump because we had a really good weekend. And we kind of want to see like a stock market crash type of line versus like just a ski slope. So a little bit of up and down and over is okay when you're trying to lose weight. Our bodies don't like change. They like to be in what we call homeostasis, meaning that everything works as normal, where there's not any sort of there's no big changes to our body. So as you're losing weight, your body has to kind of recalibrate itself to that new weight, especially to make it sustainable. So if your weight has stalled, it's been 2 weeks, just keep doing what you're doing. Continue to work out, eat well, etc. If you're looking further on than that, and you're like, I just can't lose this last 5 pounds, I'm so close. That's when you might need to change some of your eating habits, really focusing in on your macro count, your calorie count, and then upping some of that exercise on a daily basis. 1 to 2 pounds of weight loss per week is considered normal. So if you've been seeing that slow, gradual, and then you kind of stopped, your body is just kind of recalibrating, and then you'll start to go again. But consistency is key. Progress is key. You did not get into your body that you're in now overnight. You're not going to get into the body that you want to be in overnight. And you also can't get into the body that you want to be in with the same habits that you have now. I know that's a hard truth. You have to be willing to make the changes. So if you're stalled and you're 5 pounds away from where you want to be, is it worth it to drastically change your exercise and eating habits? Where you're like, you know what, I'm 5 pounds away from where I want to be, but at this weight, I can go out for pizza and beers with my friends and enjoy my life that way. So it's that give and take. Very hard truth, Belinda. I know. I would be what did I told somebody yesterday, if I had the magic pill that could make you lose all the weight that you wanted to overnight, I would probably be up in space with Jeff Bezos. So hasn't been decided yet. But consistency and showing up for yourself every day will always, always, always pay off. And I believe the last question that I have for you that was submitted today is, how can I involve my family on my health and wellness journey? I think this is a good question. A lot of us have families that we have to care to, right? We have to schlep kids from here to there and feed them. And, little Timmy doesn't like broccoli this week, but he loved it last week. So really finding those ways to integrate the family, to get everybody on the same page. Maybe your partner is not super keen on the weight loss journey, but you are. So how can you involve them? And I think it's what works for you and your family, but some ideas. If you do have kids, I think it's always fun to have them pick the activity. Have them pick if they want to go play at the park with you for 20 minutes, or if they want to go for a walk and tell you about their day. Maybe they want to play, Wii golf or something active, some active video game at home. as far as eating with kids, I am always, always, always a fan of taking, and I know I don't have children, so for those of you who have young kids, you might be like, Rachel, you're crazy. But taking them to the grocery store and letting them pick out one fruit or vegetable that they want to try that week. Getting that buy-in from your kids will hopefully make mealtime a little bit less hectic, because they were involved in the choice. So like this picture, maybe they pick eggplant for the week, and you can look up a recipe on how to make that eggplant together. Maybe make like a goulash with that eggplant in it. You can really build that up when they're trying a new fruit and vegetable. Like, ooh, what does it smell like? What does it look like? What do you think it's going to feel like? Does it make any noise? Okay, now let's eat it. Really, really building that up is a good way to get kids involved, especially like preschoolers and school agers. And I think having, those candid conversations, maybe staying away from like, oh, we're trying to lose weight, but more of like, we're trying to build healthy habits. Healthy bodies eat fruits and vegetables. Healthy bodies move every day. And having those conversations. And I think showing up for yourself every day, regardless of what the people are doing around you. I know that's a lot easier said than done. But we tend to rub off on the people around us. So stick to your guns and hopefully the family will follow. And make cooking time fun for the family. Ask your partner what they want to eat, your spouse, your partner, your kids, whatever it could be, and then find a way to get active together weekly. Hiking on the weekends, walking around the neighborhood after school every day, walking to and from school, things like that. Walking the dog, playing catch, find ways to get active together. Those are all the questions I have prepped for today. Any other questions that you all might have? Perfect. So September is right around the corner. Crazy, right? We are going to talk about all things type 2 diabetes next month. So September 1st, we're going to focus on what is T2, what is type 2, and get the basics there. And we're going to talk how to reduce your risk the following 3 weeks about reducing your risk through nutrition, reducing your risk through getting active, and then reducing your risk through managing stress. Really the 3 pillars of our well-being. Then the last week in September, as always, will be that health coach Q&A. Please send us your questions. I think there is an email coming out with that link again. If you've missed out on any of our previous health chats, please feel free to go look at them at infantlehealth.com/wellness chats. All of our chats are stored there. Please share them with your friends, family, colleagues, etc. And as always, if you have any questions specific for us, please call or email, chat through the app, whatever is easiest for you. And one last question that came in, Lisa asked, what about bone health, especially as you get older? So bone health, especially for women who are getting older, we tend to lose our bone density a little bit easier. One of the tried and true ways to keep our bone density and to build healthy bones for kids and then to keep our bone density is doing a weight-bearing activity. So using our bodies, strength training, going for a walk, running, anything that you jump and pound on your bones where you have to put some sort of weight and pressure on them is how we keep that bone density up. There's actually science that supports that cow's milk, fortified cow's milk with calcium and vitamin D does nothing for our bone health. So you don't have to like go out and drink a whole bunch of milk to get the calcium and vitamin D. It's not what we consider bioavailable, meaning our body can't process it in the way that it's coming. But there are other things, there are other ways to get vitamin D and calcium, things like broccoli, getting outside, in the sun. Some fish have calcium and vitamin D. So eating, rather than taking a supplement, eating our nutrients, and then staying active, especially as you get older. Absolutely. Are low impact exercises in a pool good when you are suffering from knee injuries? Absolutely, Sonia. I was actually just talking to a friend recently who got who had knee surgery, so she can't be super active. So going to the pool, swimming, doing water aerobics, whatever, could be in the pool. Really, really great way to keep the pressure off of our joints, especially those knees, and a good way to get cardio. I found too with knee pain, if you are in that overweight or obese category, losing some of that weight will help with our knees. In the way that women are designed, because we have hips, our hips are not directly over our knees, so we tend to have a little bit more pain, whereas men's hips are right over their knees, so they don't have as much pain. So losing some of that weight will put less undue pressure on our knees. So I know, telling you things that you probably know, but and with that, I will stay on the line, but I'm going to end the recording, and I hope to see you all next week. Have a great rest of your day.